5 days after US's Venezuela strikes. Trump admin continues to escalate. Washington has in fact seized 2 Venezuelan oil tankers, tightening its global squeeze on Caracas and drawing a sharp reaction from Moscow. US forces boarded and seized the tankers in back-to-back operations across the North Atlantic. Both vessels were under US sanctions, and officials have to say that the action is a part of a broader blockade on Venezuelan oil exports. One of the ships, a Russian-flagged tanker, was intercepted in the Caribbean waters after a 2-week pursuit. The operation gained added significance after the tanker was shadowed by a Russian submarine, though no direct confrontation has been reported. The U.S., in fact, the message from the U.S. at this point of time is unambiguous. U.S. Secretary of War Hegseth says that the blockade of sanctioned Venezuelan oil is on and in full effect anywhere in the world. Russia, meanwhile, is pushing back. Moscow calls the situation concerning, says the vessel was in international waters and insists it was operating under global maritime law while flying the Russian state flag. Let's quickly take a look at the reactions first before we proceed.
2 oil tankers, 2 overnight, were seized by the United States of America, stateless or sanctioned, because the oil blockade, the quarantine of oil out of unsanctioned or stateless, sanctioned or stateless vessels continues. That leverage will continue. As Secretary Rubio outlined. So our military is prepared to continue this. As he said, the president, when he speaks, he means it.
The second phase will be a phase that we call recovery, and that is ensuring that American, Western, and other companies have access to the Venezuelan market in a way that's fair. Also, at the same time, begin to create the process of reconciliation nationally within Venezuela so that the opposition forces can be amnestied and released and from prisons or brought back to the country and begin to rebuild civil society. We are in the midst right now and, in fact, about to execute on a deal to take all the oil. They have oil that is stuck in Venezuela. They can't move it because of our quarantine and because it's sanctioned. We are going to take between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil. We're going to sell it in the marketplace at market rates, not at the discounts Venezuela was getting. That money will then be handled in such a way that we will control how it is dispersed in a way that benefits the Venezuelan people, not corruption, not the regime. So we have a lot of leverage to move on the stabilization front.
This was the sanctioned oil that was basically just sitting in barrels, sitting on ships because of the effective quarantine of the United States of America. And the interim authorities have agreed to release that oil to the United States, so it will be arriving here at home very soon. The United States government has already begun marketing Venezuelan crude oil in the global marketplace for the benefit of the United States, engaged the world's leading commodity marketers, key banks to execute and provide financial support for these crude oil and crude product sales. All proceeds from the sale of Venezuelan crude oil and products will first settle in U.S.-controlled accounts at globally recognized banks to guarantee the legitimacy and integrity of the ultimate distribution of proceeds, and those funds will be dispersed for the benefit of the American people and the Venezuelan people at the discretion of the United States government.
With that, we have Rohit Sharma continuing to be with us on the broadcast. Rohit, I want to understand one thing here. What is the messaging behind the U.S. move wherein they've taken over these 2 Venezuelan vessels?
I think it's quite evident what President Trump wants here. I think he's said it before, that he wants to make sure that America runs the Venezuelan policy, which means making sure that Venezuela does not have any influence from the Chinese or the Russians. And I think he's making it clear by such actions to let the world know that America owns the Western Hemisphere. America has put in sanctions in the waters in the Caribbean, Atlantic, and then Venezuela cannot be, sending oil to what America believes are its adversaries, including Russia and China, and in fact, Iran for that matter. So it would be, it's not too tough to guess what's going on in President Trump's mind. I think he's enforcing the America First policy, which means enforcing his national strategy document, which said that America should be looking to ensure that there is no foreign influence in the Western Hemisphere, making sure it's secure. And I think this is a powerful message that President Trump has sent to everybody in the world, that if there is anybody who thinks that they can get away with, trying to violate what America thinks is its territory, then they will be held accountable. So he wants to ensure that the Venezuelan oil is for Western Hemisphere, which belongs to Venezuela, and possibly once American companies start going in Venezuela, they will be, getting the oil for American companies and sharing the profit, is what President Trump has said. He's talked about selling about 50 million barrels of oil and trying to get that done. He also has a meeting set up this Friday with oil executives from the U.S. and try to encourage them to start operations in Venezuela. So he's pretty clear. He's going after America first. He's making sure that the world is put on notice, and the fact that nobody should be violating the laws or the sanctions that America believes will further America First policy. And third, making sure that Venezuela falls in line. And I think he's doing exactly that with this policy.